Good afternoon. Welcome all of you to the first of 3 town hall / information sessions that we will be having for this year's scholarship program. I do recognize many of your names from last year or from our Future Forward program that we had earlier this year, so welcome back. Thank you for your continued engagement with the BBPA. So this session is a very general overview of the process this year. There are slight changes from the application portal to some of the requirements. The subsequent sessions, which will be held next week, Monday and then Friday of next week, will be going more in depth. Next week, Monday, we will be looking at the bulk of the application itself, more in depth with the personal statement, and the following one is the budget. We will also have opportunity for question and answers. We're going to try to keep the session as informal as possible and as comfortable as possible for all so that you can maximize the benefit of the session. My name is Stephanie Sandy Edwards. I am the Director of Programs here at the BBPA, and myself and Danielle, we oversee the scholarship program. Many of you would have seen Danielle's emails come through. She's very responsive, very helpful. So if you need anything, she is far more likely to help you than I am. Not that I don't want to. Anyway, so we're going to jump right into the presentation. I'm going to share my screen. And I will stop periodically to see if there's any questions. And if I'm moving too quickly, please let me know. Okay. So introduction. So we're going to go through very quickly and high level, what last year looked like for the scholarship program. At the BBPA, it's very important for us to support academic excellence, particularly within the Black demographic. We know that as Black youth, there are so many barriers to success that at the BBPA, we're committed to removing as many of those barriers as possible. The scholarship, as you all know, is just one of many programs that we have geared towards your demographic. So the eligibility criteria, we're going to jump right in. Eligibility criteria has changed slightly from last year. As you enter the portal, so just as from a show of hands, who has actually started their application? If you just raise your virtual hand, that would be very helpful, or your physical one, whichever way it works. Okay, wonderful. So a fair amount of you have gone in and started the process. So you'll understand and you'll be familiar with what we're referring to here. So as you enter the portal, you will see 3 questions. Those are your eligibility criteria. The questions are, do you self-identify as Black? Are you eligible to study in Canada, or what your Canadian status is? It takes you through PR, your permanent residency, your visa, whether you're a Canadian citizen, etc. And whether or not you are enrolled or accepted into post-secondary education. If you answer those 3 questions, I want to say correctly, it will open up the application. If not, and you're deemed to be ineligible, the application will stay closed and it will be submitted. So that's the first difference from last year. We're really trying to have a more streamlined process and a more user-friendly process. Last year, 2022 was our biggest year of scholarship to date. We were able to award 150 scholarships, totaling 500,000 Canadian dollars. The likelihood of us awarding the same size this year is probably not, we probably won't be awarding the same amount, but we always do our best to support as many of you as we can. Scholarships go from approximately 1,000 Canadian dollars up to $7,000, depending on which scholarship you're awarded. This year deadline is July 3rd. Many of you will notice that that's a bit earlier than last year. We're really trying to get the money to you in a timely manner. You will be notified by the end of August, probably sooner, but give us a little bit of wiggle room. We say the end of August, and the scholarship ceremony this year is slated for October 6th, Friday, October 6th, and it will be an in-person ceremony. So Thanksgiving plans, make your plans to be in Toronto for Thanksgiving so you're able to be there. So the application, part 1 of the application is, it takes you through the general questions, very generic questions, your personal information, So we want to know who you are, where you live, how do we contact you, your gender if you choose to disclose. These are all demographic information and has no bearing on your ability to participate in the scholarship program or be selected. We are going to ask that you just make sure that the information you provide is accurate. Many times last year, in particular, we found that email addresses provided were not functioning email addresses, so it made it very difficult to contact you. Mailing addresses were incorrect, so we were verifying those at the last minute, and all of those things will delay our ability to award scholarships. So we ask that you take your time when filling this out, and making sure that all of the information is accurate. We are going to try to get through this really quickly so we have as much time as possible for questions and answers. I see a hand up. Andre?
Yeah. So,
sorry, yeah, go ahead and ask your question.
So when I was filling out my application, like I did the eligibility thing, and like I said, yes, I'm a resident, yes, I am Black, and the other one, whatever it was, I forget what it was. And then I couldn't really get to the like actual application process. Did I do something wrong there?
So Andre, are you Andre Moody?
Yes.
Okay. So sorry, I recognize the names from last year. Danielle will go in on the back end and check to see if there's any problems with your application. My gut is telling me you might have accidentally hit none of the above on the residency piece, because that would have closed it out. But we'll go in and check, and we will make sure it gets back into the application status, and you'll be able to complete your application.
All right, thank you.
All right, no problem. Did you complete your report?
What report would that be?
Okay, I can reach out afterwards,
yeah,
and I can give you the information.
Yeah, so for those of you who were scholarship awardees last year, there is a reporting requirement that might also be blocking your ability to get into the system. So if you have not reached your report, if you've not received either a link through SurveyMonkey Apply to complete your report or through Typeform, please just reach out and we will send it to you again. Lucy and Amani, we'll go Lucy first, then Amani.
Hi, I just had a quick question about the report. I filled out the report when it came to my email, but then when I was doing the application, the report still showed up as part of the application. Do I need to do it a second time, or should I just leave that blank?
Yeah, no, we noticed that, so we're correcting it on the back end.
Okay, awesome.
Sorry to interrupt. I sent you an email this afternoon, so you'll have an email from scholarships@bbpa.org explaining it a little bit more as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
No problem.
Amani?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to ask. I apologize if you already answered, perhaps I missed it. An international student who has the study permit asked me if he's eligible to apply for the BBPA scholarship.
Yeah, so he would check off that he has the student visa.
Right.
So the requirements is that they have to be eligible to study in Canada.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. I'm just going to ask that after you ask your question, if you could just lower your virtual hand so that I know that it's not a new question, that would be great. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move ahead. So part 2 of the application process, so we would have gone through the eligibility. This will get you into the details, and this is where the most of the effort has to be used in applying for the application. We will have an overview of your academic information. So similar to previous years, we're going to ask you what your institution is that you're attending, what your area of study is, what your GPA is, and really get an understanding of you as a student from the academic perspective. Then we will be going into the personal statement. I believe we will touch on it a little bit more in the next section, but the personal statement, I cannot tell you enough. This is where you need to spend the time in your application. This is going to be the section that is going to differentiate you from your peers. This is where we learn about you as a person. We learn about your aspirations, how you've contributed to society or your community, your leadership skills, And it really gives us a sense of who you are beyond the grades. We've made a little bit of a difference. So you know what, I'm just going to speak. My slides will probably not correspond with what I'm saying, but I'll do my best. We made a slight difference to change this year where we really want our adjudicators to get to know you as an individual. So you have an option to submit a video statement. So it's 3 minutes where we get to see you, we get to meet you, and we can really understand in your voice, you know, why you are fitting for this scholarship. This is an addition, so you can either submit it via video or writing. There's no requirement as to one or the other. I just feel that it's a nice personal touch if you're able to do the video. But it doesn't help or hurt either way. With the application, as per every year, there's supporting documentation that's required. We ask that you confirm your mailing address, upload a copy of your transcript. I know that the application closes early this year, so many of you are sitting in that application status still waiting to submit because you're waiting for your report cards or your final grades. That's fine. I'm confident that most, if not all of you, will have them before the closing date. In the event that you do not, please send us whatever your most recent transcript is, because we will have an opportunity to ask you for a revised one if you are selected for the award. Do not let the fact that you have not received it be what stops you from applying. If you need confirmation of that, you can just send us a quick email, but wait as long as you can, but obviously not till July 3rd because we don't want to overload the system. But I believe many of you should have your grades. The university students will probably have them already. Those who are graduating from high school will have them before the end of June, or else I don't know how you're graduating without those grades. I see a couple hands up, so I'm going to go Faith, then AWOL, then Layan. So Faith, go ahead.
Hi. I was wondering if there's any other way I can provide a proof of address other than the bank statement or credit card bill, like my driver's license or something.
You do have a driver's license?
Yeah.
All right, so I would ask that, okay, can you just take a picture of your driver's license and send it to us directly and we will backload it? And the reason I say this is that via the system, we technically are not allowed to ask for identifying information. We can ask for your mailing address, but we can't ask for a copy of your driver's license. It's really up to you if you want to upload it in the system or if you want to send it to us via email, but that is sufficient. Alternatively, we look for, similar to what the banks or other institutions would look for, 2 pieces of ID with the same mailing address. Does that work, Faith?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. AWOL? AWOL or AWOL? Sorry, I always forget how it's pronounced.
AWOL.
AWOL, okay, sorry.
Yeah, but it's okay. Some of my friends call me AWOL, so that's okay.
Well, I've encountered you a couple times over the last year, so I would hope that I would have remembered by now, so my apologies. Anyway, please go ahead.
Yeah, so for the application, so I was a past recipient. However, this year I'm also taking additional courses this summer. So I'm enrolled in some courses during the summer. And in terms of my transcripts, the classes I'm currently enrolled in is actually going to indicate I'm still enrolled in those courses. Hope it won't affect the documentation.
No, so I would just submit what you have up to this date. So it'd be partial marks for those courses.
Yeah.
Because you're trimester, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so submit up to the end of the 2nd semester.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, Layan.
Yeah, hi. So I have a question in terms of the average grade or the GPA, the criteria on the website. So it asks for it in a percentage, but what I would be able to provide is my undergrad GPA, which is on a 4.0 scale. So what do I do in that case?
Danielle, help me remember, do we auto calculate the GPA on the back end from the application?
I'm fairly certain that we do.
Okay.
Okay.
Alternately,
Mhm.
I'd probably suggest just looking on a GPA calculator online
Okay. Okay.
and converting, because we will have your transcript. So we'll be able to verify
Mhm, mhm.
against your transcript.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Chelsea?
Hi, I just had a question about eligibility. So I'm a student at IMS doing a master's program there, but I'm currently on a parental LOA. I'll be coming back or starting back school in the fall, but I'm still technically like enrolled I'm still registered as a student. So would that still would I be able to still apply for the funding?
Yeah, so if you're able to provide verification of enrollment or a letter stating that you are actually going to be enrolled for September, then you will be eligible.
Okay, and do I need to get that from the school, or can my supervisor provide that?
It'd be best if it comes from the school and it's on school letterhead.
Okay, but if I do have to use my supervisor, would that be acceptable too?
Do you know if your supervisor will be able to write it on school letterhead? Because what's important for us is that we have verification that whoever's writing this letter is actually writing it in the capacity of somebody who is at the school.
I think either the school letterhead or the hospital letterhead he can use. I can double check with him though.
Yeah, double check, and then if anything, just send us an email at BBPA Scholarship, and we'll be able to get back to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and now we're gonna go Princess, Renee, then Roy.
Yeah, so I just had a question about the transcript. So is an unofficial transcript fine?
At this point, yes.
Okay, and then I also wanted to ask, because my first year I did it at a different university than the one I'm currently in. So should I submit both transcripts?
What year are you in now? Are you going into third year?
I'm going into my fourth year in September.
Okay, we only need the most current transcript.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Renee?
Hi, my question, I don't know if this is just personal, but every time I try to click apply on the website, it goes to the SurveyMonkey site, and then I try to sign in, and then it says that there's an error, or that like it just says my account is either deactivated, it doesn't exist or something. And that's even when I try to register with a different email.
Okay, we've actually been running into some problems. You're not the only one who's had that issue. Did you send us an email already about it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, Danielle, could you just take down Renee's name? And Renee, if you could just send us your email in the chat.
Yeah, sure.
We will look into it and get back to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Roy?
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I'm actually an MS2 medical student in the US school, and I was a recipient last year. I was just wondering if I'm still able to apply this year, because I noticed like there was a change kind of to the qualification status.
If your status hasn't changed between last year and this year, and you received the scholarship last year, then please go ahead and reapply.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to just recap the supporting documents because I don't remember where I had gotten to, and then we'll move on. So for supporting documentation, we're looking for your transcript, mailing address, photos. So very, very, very important. Please, no selfies, guys. No pictures of you on the beach. No pictures in front of trees. We want professional photos. We're going to use these photos in all of us for our scholarship awardees, the recipients. These photos are going to be there. They're going to live on our website. They're going to be at the scholarship ceremony. You don't want to be the one photo that is sitting there looking all cute instead of professional. So please, minimum 300 DPI, if possible. Headshots, typically we will not see your hands in the photo. It would be elbows and up. And, send a photo that actually represents you as the scholar that you are. We got some very interesting photos in previous years. So to save us time once again and to be able to expedite the process, let's get good quality photos. And Danielle, did I miss one of the supporting documents? Transcripts, headshots, mailing address.
Letter of recommendation.
Yes, the letter of recommendation. So once you submit, this year you'll notice that it's a little different. Once you submit, you're actually able to send a request for a letter of recommendation in the system. That will all be done in the system. It will be received back in the system as well. So once you send that off, it will go straight to your recommender, sorry, and they will reply back into the system. Please go in and check your status on the website. If your application is submitted, it will say application submitted. If it does not say that, it says application in process, something is missing. We have many applications right now sitting in the in process stage. Many of them look complete. So please don't assume, go back and check. Okay. Oh. Ooh, I moved ahead a lot quicker than I thought. Okay, so I'm just gonna forget the slideshow and just speak. There we go. Financial statement. The budgeting will all be done in the system as well. It will all auto calculate. Please, please, please put in all of your financial information. We know how difficult it is for students financially. We don't need to paint a picture that is more dire than it actually is. Along with the budget requirements, we're going to want to see all your income, all your expenses. It will auto calculate for you. You don't need to worry about that. There's going to be the financial statement again, similar to last year, where you're going to be able to articulate your circumstances. This one you do not have the ability to do in a video. This will be written. After the financial statement, so once you've done that, you will then submit your complete application. And the process on our end will it's very streamlined. It goes through similar processes last year where every application will be reviewed by at least 2 judges, and then it will be group reviewed. So it will be very objective. All identifying information is redacted when it is going through that application process. So the application will be judged on your merit and your merit alone. And I think that more or less covers off everything we wanted to speak about today. As I said, next week we will go more in depth into that personal statement piece. There's a lot of information embedded in the application though, so if you take the time to read it, you'll be very clear on what the expectations are.